Hi, I'm Sarah Lacy with TechCrunch TV. My massively pregnant self has come down to Mountain View for one reason today, and that is to interview Jeff Weiner, LinkedIn CEO, on your very first public earnings day.
Yeah.
And it was a good day. The markets broke, but you guys did well.
Yeah, we had a good quarter. We were very pleased with the results, and it's a nice way to come out with our first quarterly conference call. And we had some good traction going into the IPO, and that continued through this quarter.
Mm-hmm. So revenues were up 120%, which sounds like a nice gaudy number, but the big surprise and excitement seemed to be around the jump in profits. What was it that people weren't expecting that came through for you guys this quarter?
Yeah, we made it pretty clear on the roadshow throughout the IPO process that 2011 for us was going to be an investment year. And we think we're still at the very early stages for our platform's potential. We announced today we hit 120 million members, but by some measures there's as many as 640 million professionals in the world. And our mission is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And so as we think about how to realize the full potential of the platform, we're thinking about investing in products to create more value for the membership. We're thinking about how to scale our technology platform on a global basis, certainly to be able to grow with the membership and their engagement. And then lastly, continuing to expand our international presence. Over half of our membership now comes from overseas. That's where the fastest growth occurs. And we're not only rolling out local languages increasingly, but also increasing the number of sales offices. So all totaled, that requires investment. And so that's really where the focus is this year from a bottom line perspective.
And what does your international strategy look like? You know, increasingly we've seen a lot of land grab going on. I mean, companies like Groupon, you know, other companies seeing these clones and just buying them up very quickly and sort of aggressively. The older generation of companies that I kind of think of LinkedIn as kind of being born out of was much more of a, you know, going and hiring smart people, doing language localization, building a little more organically in international markets. Which are you going after?
That's the latter, and that's almost verbatim. You know, I think there have been some companies in the industry that have tried to acquire their way into growth, and with regard to social platforms, it's challenging because while the ultimate value prop may be similar for the company or asset you're acquiring, getting people to change from one platform to another is a lot to ask. And so what we found over time is that we're seeing the growth organically. And increasingly, you know, there's clearly network effects at play here. The more members that we add to the LinkedIn platform on a global basis, the more content that's created, and the more data that we can leverage to create more relevant, valuable experiences, not only for the members, but customers. And the better we do with customers, the more revenue we can generate, reinvest in the platform to create better products, add more people, et cetera. And you know, increasingly, I think people from all parts of the world want to be part of that critical mass network.
Right. I mean, that's what you guys bring to the table. You're probably not going to go in and compete on a very, very local mom and pop business, you know, hiring social network in Latvia, if there is such a thing. But in getting people to kind of come more into the global work economy.
I think it actually works on multiple levels. There's clearly the global economy, there's global opportunities, there's multinational companies that have a large and growing presence on LinkedIn with their employee base. There's regional and pan-regional. You know, Europe. Our European hiring solutions business is our fastest growing international marketplace for hiring solutions right now, which has been a pleasant surprise for us. And then there is the local opportunity, and it depends on the market. You know, right now, Brazil is our single fastest growing country year over year in terms of signups. India is the second largest market after the United States in terms of total members. So I think there's opportunities both or in total for global, regional, and local.
Now, hiring solutions was up 170% year over year in revenues. It's your largest chunk of your company in terms of revenues. It's the oldest one. It's the one people tend to associate with LinkedIn. It's still the fastest growing. I mean, a couple questions around this. First of all, you know, how do you grow this kind of business so fast in a macro economy where everyone's saying there's no jobs?
I think there's a few different things going on. For starters, the value proposition is so unique, and the efficacy of the solution works so well for both ends of that marketplace, if you will. On the one hand, you have the recruiters or the hiring managers, and on the other end, you have people who are seeking job opportunities actively, people who may be out of work looking for their next job, or passively. And that's what's unique about the LinkedIn.
But you don't have to look desperate.
Well, it's not only that, but what you see with LinkedIn is we're able to enable recruiters to search our database, to search the platform, to find the perfect candidate, even if that person's not actively looking for a role. It's called a passive candidate in industry parlance. And it's never been possible for recruiters to search passive candidates at scale before. The closest proxy for that has been an executive recruiter who's picking up the phone, calling you and saying, hey, Sarah, we have a wonderful opportunity for you, any interest? And based on your answer, you're going to hear them tapping on their keyboard, updating their database. And that only scales so far. It can be effective, but not necessarily at scale. And the flip side are the job boards, which have largely been relying upon active candidates. And a hot company with a really sought-after opportunity that's posted on a job board may see thousands of resumes submitted. And then the recruiter spending all of their time just sifting through those resumes, saying no, 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 as opposed to looking for exactly the right candidate.
Right.
So it's a very unique value proposition in that regard. And I think as a result, you're seeing recruiters, regardless of the challenging macroeconomic environment, looking for greater return on investment. And more importantly, you're seeing people who are in need of help to find opportunities they otherwise wouldn't have been able to find, out of work or anxious about the jobs they currently have, turning to LinkedIn and most importantly, turning to their networks to get the help they need to find those opportunities.
So where are you seeing the most growth? Is it in, I know some of it's international, but within the US, is it in pockets like Silicon Valley where there's a huge war on talent and these kind of specialized areas where people just can't find people who have the skills? Or is it, the out of work, factory worker from Detroit who's doing what you said, leveraging his network in a way he can't on other properties?
We're seeing a lot of growth in technology, financial services, and healthcare would be the big three industries. Though increasingly as we broaden our membership, I think you're going to see us adding value in terms of the kinds of roles that you were talking about in the second half of your question. And that's part of our goal as we expand from 120 million members to 640 million professionals in the world. And beyond that, there's 3.3 billion people in the global workforce. While our mission is to connect the world's professionals, make them more productive and successful, the vision is to create economic opportunity for every professional in the world. And broadly defined, professionals are people that earn a living from their skills. And that's ultimately what we want to do. So while you may see a higher concentration of higher value roles and job availabilities on LinkedIn today, that is clearly going to broaden over time.
Now, job seeking was sort of the first thing at LinkedIn that made the company profitable, that people knew about. That was the, one of the first cases in social networking where there was a clearly monetizable, thing that someone had built. And the company has rolled out all kinds of services and features since then. You guys have done a lot recently. Still, hiring solutions seems to be, the core of this company. Are you worried about over-reliance now that you're a public company on this one sector? Do you feel like something else should have become this big by now?
Hiring solutions is our largest and fastest growing revenue stream, but it actually only comprises a very small percentage of total engagement on LinkedIn. With regard to the broader member ecosystem, people are turning to LinkedIn to build out their networks. They're joining groups to share information and knowledge. They're using products and services like LinkedIn Today because of the relevancy of the headlines that they're reading that enables them to make better, faster decisions. So hiring solutions is a big part of our revenue streams, although that also is diversified with marketing solutions, in other words, ad sales, and premium subscriptions, and we're seeing growth across all three. But the lion's share of the activity takes place outside of hiring solutions, and that is in part why hiring solutions does so well. It's because people update their LinkedIn profile when they're not looking for a job.
Right.
And that's
and
never
it's the
happened
same reason
before.
that social networking sites like Facebook have deteriorated online dating sites, I think, because you don't have people necessarily going on Facebook looking for someone to date. That's not the ostensible, but you wind up having a lot of this sort of kismet that you would have in a real world situation.
Yeah, it's an interesting analog for us. What's happening on LinkedIn is people are updating their profiles when they're not looking for it because that's how opportunity accrues to them. Their profiles, the more relevant and fresh that information, the more likely to be search engine optimized. So when someone does a search for your name or someone like you because they have an opportunity that awaits you, they're going to see your name at the top of the results. And the opportunity in this day and age to be able to carve out a piece of digital real estate is really valuable. And the more opportunity that accrues to you, the more likely you are to become further engaged, to build out your network, invite other people, and that's where that virtuous cycle takes place. And as a result of that, our platform is populated with all of this incredibly valuable information and data that we can then try to figure out how to make as relevant and valuable as possible.